Shalom, family. All praises, glory, and honor goes to the Holy One of Israel, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hawakakodash. Something very significant happened this week, family. Um, I want to start off, before I get started, I want to say shalom to all the brothers out there pushing the truth in righteousness, sincerity. I want to say shalom to all the sisters out there that's listening in, that's learning out there. Staying true to the faith, staying true to the gospel. And like I said, something significant just happened where a group of scientists who basically come from yes, basically a group of scientists that came from way back when. You know what I'm saying? This organization of theirs, I mean, um, from the from the experiment that resulted in the atom bomb, the atomic bomb, and they created a time clock, if you will, back from Oppenheimer and so on and so forth. Uh, and this clock essentially sets like a metaphorical signal of the times that we're in, and it's called the Doomsday Clock. That clock signifies when the time goes to 12 midnight, that we are at a catastrophe that can't be overturned, if you will, right? And so what happened this week was this group of scientists just changed the time from 2 minutes and 30 seconds to uh, to 100 seconds to midnight. 100 seconds to midnight. Right, so that would be 1 minute 40 seconds. Right, 1 minute 40 seconds if it's 100 seconds to midnight. Um, and of course, people round it off to 2 minutes, if you know. But either way, it doesn't bode well for anybody that's that doesn't know what's going on. Anyone who don't know what's happening, who don't keep their faith in the Most High, who don't keep His laws, and stay rooted in His righteousness, this is going to be terrible news for them. Terrible news. And we was warned by that in the scriptures. We was told, because we never put times, we never put dates on when Yahweh's going to send His Son Yahweh Shai to liberate us and take us out of this place and to destroy the inhabitants of the planet. We don't put no time or dates on that. However, what we do is we measure the times through prophecy, through prophecies. And I'm going to get into some of the prophecies that we're seeing now is taking place. But I'm going to start with scripture in 2nd Esdras. I'm going to start with 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 1. It says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time, wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which He made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. All right. So let's start off with this video right here from RT News, and this man right here basically just he summarizes all this that's been going down and everything that's of significance to this clock.
So the news is, there's another apocalypse alert. The doomsday clock is being set at 100 seconds to midnight.
We're now expressing how close the world is to catastrophe in seconds, not hours or even minutes. It's the closest to doomsday we have ever been in the history of the doomsday clock.
So, how do the people who reset the hands explain what is pushing us to Armageddon? Well, they're saying it could be just round the corner because of the following. Lack of climate action. Rise of cyber-enabled disinformation campaigns. Oh, right, that's the new black in the threat radar fashion industry. And, most importantly, the nuclear threat. Indeed, what did the new year bring along? Hashtag Iran. Hashtag World War III. Let's hear from someone else who was there to crank up the panic meter. Former UN Secretary General.
From the US withdrawal from the Paris Agreement and the Iran nuclear deal, to deadlock at nuclear disarmament talks and division at the UN Security Council, our mechanisms for collaboration are being undermined when we need them most.
So, for those of you scratching your heads about who's causing the mess, that wasn't some Iranian diplomat putting the blame on Trump for ripping up the nuclear agreement. It was Ban Ki-moon, but probably everyone should have wondered long ago. Could they care less in D.C.? Europe tried to butt in, but it didn't work, because Iran is evil anyway. Some well-known faces couldn't help reminding us about it, even at the Holocaust commemorations.
The world must stand strong against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Israel salutes President Trump and Vice President Pence for confronting the tyrants of Tehran that subjugate their own people. I call on all governments to join the vital effort of confronting Iran.
So, if bombing the hell out of one top Iranian commander this month wasn't enough, watch out for more.
If General Esmail Ghani follows a similar path of killing Americans, he will meet the same fate.
It's not like the folks in Tehran would keep stum after hearing that.
These words are an official announcement and a clear unveiling of America's targeted and governmental terrorism.
Whether you can actually hear the doomsday clock ticking for the whole of mankind or not, one thing's for sure, the US-Iran relationship is defo 100 seconds from apocalypse.
All right. So we heard from a couple excuse me. Oh, can't talk right now. We heard from a couple people, such as Benjamin Netanyahu, and we heard from Mike Pence and everyone else. We hear people from all around the world that's pretty much saying that they woke up to a much more dangerous world. So. Oh boy. So we have Netanyahu saying that that we need to go against Iran, and then we have Mike Pence saying that we need to go against Iran. The only people that are actually outside of that deal is the United States. All right. Israel never became a signatory to the Non-Proliferation Act. For the Atomic Energy Agency. However, this is something that's pretty much pushing the envelope right now. Among other things, because we have what? We got earthquakes in diverse places. We've got volcanoes blowing up. We got everything happening right now. If you can't see it, then I don't know, man. However, let me get something else for us. as a result of all this craziness that's been taking place, you see more and more sightings of these UFOs, so-called UFOs, the chariots of Israel. You seeing these things showing up. All the angels is coming to pay this place a visit. As I just read, the Most High is beginning to visit the world which He made, and how is He doing that? Through His servants, the angels. Through the angels, they're coming down. They scooping out the place, scoping out the places, and keeping tabs on what's going on, what's going down, because this thing has to happen according to how He spoke, according to what He spoke. This thing's going to take place. Let me get a scripture real quick. I want Zechariah. This is Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and beheld a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side, according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side, according to it. So what you see right now that's taking place is the Most High sending his angels to scope the place, getting everything ready, That's why y'all so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Natives, y'all Israelites need to stay focused, man, because we're not out of this thing. We're not out just yet. It's going to get a lot more worse. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, man. Stay focused. But what they did was they paid Iran a little visit. Many of y'all have actually seen this. Footage, where it was a chariot that paid Iran a visit, and Iran didn't take too kindly to that. So they tried to shoot it down. Didn't go too well though. Dipped every shot. And that's the power of the Most High Yahweh. That's the power. How do these things operate? They operate through the Spirit. People ask, what's the propulsion? What's the propulsion behind it? And so, no, man, there's no propulsion. It's all through the Spirit. It's all through the Spirit. Let me see where this is. This is recorded right here in the book of Ezekiel. In the book of Ezekiel, everybody looks at this like it's something so unbelievable, where it's written right here if you actually read it. Let me see where I can find that. This is Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 14. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. As the appearance of a flash of lightning. You can't catch this. You can't catch any of these ships. These chariots are too fast. these chariots don't operate in the third dimension world. They operate in a higher frequency. Let me see. Verse 4. And I looked and beheld a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire unfolding in itself. And a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as a color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. And that's how these things work. So let's get into some of these things that's influenced the doomsday clock that they call it. Let's see. This is from Havasu News. Havasu News. It says doomsday clock creeps closer to midnight than it ever has in history. It says calling world affairs profoundly unstable. Scientists on Thursday moved the fateful minute hand on the doomsday clock another 20 seconds closer to midnight, signifying that humanity is more perilously near global catastrophe than any other time in recent history. The metaphorical clock is now set to 100 seconds to midnight. The closer it has come to hitting the final hour, a symbol of world annihilation, since its inception by the University of Chicago-based Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists in 1947. At a news conference in Washington, D.C. on Thursday, scientists cited United States withdrawal from the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement and the Iran nuclear deal, as well as deadlock in disarmament talks, as some of their reasons for the dire forecast. The recent rise in tensions between the United States and Iran helped confirm their decision, they said. We are now expressing how close the world is to catastrophe in seconds, not hours or even minutes, said Rachel Brisson of the University of Chicago, who serves as president and CEO of the Bulletin. It is the closest to doomsday we have ever been in the history of the doomsday clock. We now face a true emergency, an absolutely unacceptable state of world affairs that has eliminated any margin of error or further delay. These Edomites is petrified, baby. The foreboding timepiece was designed by Bulletin scientists as a harbinger of the state of international affairs, with the minute hand shifting toward or away from doomsday, based on man-made threats to safety and security. For the first few decades, the time was based solely on nuclear threats. But in recent years, climate change and technological threats weighed heavily in the decision. Climate change, what are we seeing? We're seeing earthquakes all over the place. We're seeing famines. We're seeing pestilence. We're gonna get into that. We see wildfires, crazy wildfires, volcanoes exploding. We're seeing all manner of stuff. It's not just nuclear no more. You got it. You got everything that's happening, back to back to back. Like what? Like birth pains. Like birth pains. We got hailstorms. We've got desert storms. Sandstorms. Tornadoes. I don't even know what's gonna happen in the next coming months, man. In the West, boy, what happened last year was a mess. No crops was made. No crops was grown. Nothing. We going into a famine. You see what I'm saying? It's everything that takes place that has to be weighed in. Not just nuclear anymore. That's going to be the final finale. The true finale. And that's going to be the signal that we getting up out of here, man. It continues, says for the first few decades, the time was based solely on nuclear threats, but in recent years, climate change and technological threats weighed heavily in the decision. Technological threats also goes into not just drones but AI. AI. If you paid attention to RT, they've been reporting on some of the dangers that's being expressed with artificial intelligence. Now you've seen all these movies, I Robot and all these other movies, especially Terminator. You know what I'm saying? Esau is going to cause a lot of devastation before anything, because they're not going to let this. They're not going to let their kingdom go. They're not going to let their rulership go to the Israelites just like that. No, they're going to do whatever they can. They're going to do whatever they will to get to hang on to what they have, even if it means destroying the planet, even if it means destroying their own people. Esau is going to do that. The latest reset of 20 seconds was the smallest incremental time change in the clock's history. Other time changes have been in increments of 30 seconds or more. Even at the height of the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States, the minute hand was set at 2 minutes to midnight. The clock has never come this close to approaching the end. The bulletin was established in 1945 by the University of Chicago scientists who were part of the Manhattan Project. That's what I was thinking about. The Manhattan Project with Oppenheimer and his colleagues who created the atom bomb, which produced the atom bombs the United States used against Japan, weaponry that would later ignite the Cold War with the Soviet Union. It's very much a Chicago story. Robert Rosner, University of Chicago professor and chair of the Science and Security Board of the Bulletin, said in a telephone interview, "It's one of the earliest examples of when scientists have come to terms with what they created. I would say the Bulletin was the very first organized attempt to come to terms with the consequences of scientific invention. While the visual image of a clock might be simple, Rosner said the experts determining each shift of the minute hand take the decision very seriously, critically evaluating the state of international events, climate threats, and how technology impacts safety and security. The Bulletin's Science and Security Board, which includes scientists and other experts on climate change, military affairs, and technology, meet twice a year to discuss international events and resets the minute hand accordingly. The iconic clock is kept at the Bulletin's headquarters at the University of Chicago. Most people don't have the time to think through the consequences of actions taken by governments," Rosner says, "but is a synthesis, a look at the big picture. Are we safe? Are we safer than before or not?" He added that these experts are nonpartisan and the choice to move the hand of the clock is never politically motivated, which it shouldn't be. But, go on. The minute hand has been reset about 24 times since the clock's inception, marking moments of calamity as well as indicators of peace and prosperity. In 1991, following the Cold War's end, the minute hand was rewound to 17 minutes, the furthest it's ever been from the fatal hour. The last time change was in 2008 when the minute hand crept 30 seconds toward midnight, resting just 2 minutes shy of the end of the world. Tick tock. Tick tock indeed. Let's get a scripture. Let's get a scripture. What I want is in Job. This is Job chapter 34, verse 20. In a moment shall they die. In a moment shall they die. And the people shall be troubled at midnight. And the people shall be troubled at midnight and pass away. And the mighty shall be taken away without hand. For his eyes are upon the ways of men, and he seeth all his goings. There is no darkness nor shadow of death, where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. For he will not lay upon man more than right, that he should enter into judgment with Yahweh. He shall break in pieces mighty men without number, and set others in their stead. That's what's going to happen with these Edomites, man. They're going to be taken down, and the Israelites will be set in their stead. True rulership will be in place once again, and the world will know peace. But these jokers have caused a lot of mayhem. A lot of mayhem. Look at all the pollution that you see. You don't think that factors in? All that stuff is what the Most High is looking at. Verse 25, therefore he knoweth their works, and he overturneth them in the night, so that they are destroyed. So that they are destroyed, man. It just has to happen. It has to happen. That's why the Israelites must continue to stay focused. Keep watch over the prophecies that's taking place. You have to look carefully. You have to look carefully. Measure the times diligently. This is Revelations. This is Revelations chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. These Edomites know they got a short time left. Tick tock, tick tock. They know they running out of time, man. What do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna try their best to kick off their new world order as fast as possible. Look carefully at how much things have accelerated since 20 years, for the past 20 years. So within 20 years, how much has happened? Hell, 20 years ago, you didn't hear about homosexuals all over the place. You didn't hear about that. All this confusion, transsexuals. You didn't hear about none of this. AI, all that stuff, the very phones that you got. We didn't have all this just 25 years ago. Just 25 years ago, we had normal phones. People remembered phone numbers and all that crazy stuff. Now we got Instagram. Now we got Facebook and everything like that. Everybody's desensitized. Everybody's so, they're so clung to convenience. And nobody thinks for themselves anymore. Look at what they're doing, how they're attacking the children now. And they're getting away with it, and they're succeeding in this because all the parents are too focused on if it's not work, it's something foolish. Some kind of form of folly that has nothing to do with teaching the children. Everything, the home's upside down. Women are above men now. And men are subservient to women. You see what I'm saying? Everything is upside down. Nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing makes sense. And they know that this time is constantly getting closer and closer to midnight. We ain't in the last days no more. We in the last minutes. He knows he's got a short time left. Let me go to Job chapter 14, verse 5. Job chapter 14, verse 5 says, "Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass." That he cannot pass. He can't go any further. And Esau knows this. They can't go any further than this. That's why they have to do what they're doing right now. That's why they have to look at what's happening. All this talk about chips, all this talk about RFID chips and radio, like things that can alleviate Alzheimer's and stuff and so forth. They're pushing this mark. They're pushing the mark quick and heavy because they know that their time is running out. This is Job chapter 15, verse 20. "The wicked man travaileth with pain all his days, and the number of years is hidden to the oppressor." It's hidden to the oppressor. They don't know. They don't know when this is going to go down. But they can feel it. They can feel it. They can feel it. That's why you have everybody talking about make Babylon great again. You know what I'm saying? Babylon the Great. America the Great. Make America great again. That's why they doing all this. Because they know they're running out of time. Let's see what else we got. Plagues. We got plagues. Plagues of locusts. Plagues of locusts. Earthquakes in diverse places and weather that has gone completely nuts. This is from shithitsthefanplan.com. Says it was almost as if someone flipped some sort of a switch as 2020 began because we have been seeing really weird things happen all over the globe so far this year. Later in this article, I want to talk about the large earthquakes and strange weather events that we have seen over the past few days. But first, I want to discuss the massive armies of locusts that are voraciously eating crops in Asia and in Africa. Right now, a deadly invasion by millions and millions of locusts in India is absolutely devastating farm after farm, and the media in India is calling this locust invasion the worst in over 6 decades. What are we seeing right here, man? We seeing the plagues coming back. Seeing the plagues coming back. I can't go without giving the scripture for this one. Let's see what we got. Their hearts are fainting, man. Let me get this real quick. This is the 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 25. "Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape, and see my salvation and the end of your world." Just a quick reminder to y'all Israelites, man. Y'all stay close to the Most High. Continue to pray to Him day and night. Continue to pray. Continue to fast. Continue to seek Him. Continue to keep these laws, these statutes, and these commandments because they are important. This is exactly what's going to save you. This is the only way it's going to save you. If you keep his works and you keep the faith in Yahweh Shah, that's the only way you're going to make it. Ain't no rapture coming. Ain't no rapture coming. Anybody who's in that spirit talking about some rapture that's going to be taking place, no, there's no rapture. There's no rapture. Yahweh Shah said you're going to have to endure unto the end. Endure it until the end. There's no other way, man. Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 10. It says, "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the hand of Egypt. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." Egypt is not just America now. It's not just America. The Israelites were scattered all over the planet. All over the planet through the transatlantic slave trade, through the slave trade of Servile Spain. So-called Negro, Hispanic, and Native has been scattered all around the planet. All around the planet. And therefore, every place on this planet is getting plagues, is getting hell. Catching all manner of famines and pestilence. As it is written. Let me get a quick script real quick. I'm going to go to Isaiah. Let me go to Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6. Isaiah 29 and 6 says, "Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh with thunder, and with earthquakes, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire." We've got flames raging in Australia right now. Raging. And within a 24-hour period, you had a dust storm and a hailstorm. You can't tell me that the Most High ain't pummeling that place right now. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that. Let me continue with this article. As bad as things are in India, the truth is that they are even worse in Africa. In Africa, who was the first people who sold the southern kingdom of Judah, the southern kingdoms of Judah into captivity. Who was the ones that sold us? These Africans, these Hamites. All these crackers like to say, they love to say, "Oh, black people sold black people." No. No. Hamites sold Shemites into captivity. And that lie of theirs is being exposed heavily. They can't run to that no more. They can't run to that. So the plagues are going to be even worse in Africa. According to the United Nations, the desert locusts have been ravaging fields in Ethiopia and Somalia are now pouring into Kenya. The United Nations has warned of a significant and extremely dangerous escalation in the number of desert locusts descending on Kenya, as the government strives to contain the threat before it reaches the country's food-producing regions. The tropical grasshoppers have been wreaking havoc on Kenya's neighbors to the north and east, devouring tens of thousands of hectares of crops in Ethiopia and Somalia since last June. Here in the United States, we tend to think of a swarm as a few hundred insects, but over in Africa, these swarms can literally take over an entire section of a country. For example, the FOA says that one of the locust swarms in Kenya measured 2,400 square kilometers. Each square kilometer of locusts in a swarm can eat as much in a day as 35,000 people, according to the FOA. One locust swarm seen in Kenya measured 2,400 square kilometers. There is an unprecedented threat to food security and livelihoods across the Horn of Africa, the FOA said. I can't even imagine what a 2,400 square kilometer locust army would look like, but I think that it is fair to say that it qualifies as a plague. I think so too, partner. Plague of locusts. Meanwhile, earthquakes continue to pop up in unusual places. Unusual places. For example, ABC News is reporting that a magnitude 4.5 quake hit Kansas on Sunday. The United States Geological Survey said a magnitude 4.5 earthquake struck about 2 miles southwest of Hutchinson shortly after 1 p.m. The service had initially reported that it was a magnitude 4.4 earthquake, but later upgraded it. And this earthquake comes just a few months after there was a very suspicious swarm of 17 earthquakes in that same area of central Kansas. The earthquake struck as the Kansas Corporation Commission investigates the cause of a swarm of 17 earthquakes in 5 days in August, the same area of central Kansas. The regulatory agency's investigation is focused on the underground disposal of oilfield waste that's been blamed for quakes elsewhere in southern Kansas. On the other side of the globe, a very strong magnitude 6.0 earthquake hit Indonesia this weekend. Damn. A strong island earthquake has struck Indonesia's easternmost Papua province, but there were no immediate reports of major damage or casualties. The United States Geological Survey says the magnitude 6.0 quake was centered 141 kilometers west of Abapura, a city at the depths of 33.6 kilometers. But these days, large earthquakes are happening so frequently that they barely make a blip in the news. A similarly large quake just hit China, but hardly anyone in the United States even knows that it happened. Wow. Every place on the planet is getting rocked right now. Let me get a scripture real quick. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 1, Behold, Yahweh maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. Get another one real quick. Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 4. How long shall the land mourn, and the herbs of every field wither for the wickedness of them that dwell therein? The beasts are consumed, and the birds, because they said, He shall not see our last end. Everything has to come into balance. Everything must come to balance. And if there's a shift in that balance, then you reap the consequences of that shift. It's very simple. It's not hard to understand. It's really not. Like the scriptures say, the earth is like a drunkard, man. The earth is like a drunk going to and fro. The Most High is rocking this place. That quake in China was later downgraded to a magnitude 6.0 event, but that is still very significant. In some parts of the planet, the shaking simply does not stop. Over in the Philippines, there have been more than 400 earthquakes associated with the eruption of Taal volcano since last Sunday. Here we go. And as I've written about previously, more than 1,000 earthquakes have shaken Puerto Rico in recent weeks. Boy, y'all Israelites better get it together over there, man. Get it together. Stop serving Caesar de Borgia. Stop serving Caesar de Borgia, man. Stop bowing to them, man. Stop bowing to white cracker Jesus. Cause he ain't gonna save you. He ain't gonna save you. All right, stop with the pagan. Stop with the idolatry, man. Cause the Most High is visiting Israel first. The Most High gonna deal with Israel first before he deals with anybody else. That's just how it is with us. That's how it is with any father. The father deals with his children first. Let me see, where was I? Many residents continue to sleep outside because they are deathly afraid that their homes will collapse on top of them while they are sleeping if another big quake suddenly strikes. On top of everything else, global weather patterns continue to go haywire. In Alberta, the weather has actually been colder than it has been on Mars. What? Wow. I gotta read that. The highest temperature recorded on the red planet Wednesday morning was 17 Celsius, negative 17 Celsius, according to NASA, which was still a few degrees above Alberta, where the warmest temperature recorded was negative 21.2 Celsius at Nakiska Ridge in Kanas, uh, Kananaskis country. In Calgary, it reached a low of negative 23, negative 30, 31 verse 2. Excuse me, brother. Negative 31.2 Celsius. God, I can't talk today. Early Wednesday, according to Environment Canada, while in Edmonton, the mercury dipped to negative 34 Celsius. And along with Mars, Alberta was colder than a number of other well-known spots like Siberia, which sat at negative 11 Celsius Wednesday morning, and Nuuk, Greenland, where it was negative 12 Celsius. Boy, that is something. Alright, I'm not going to read all this. I'm not going to read all this, but you know what the article is. So let's keep going. This over here in Australia, and I have to say throughout all this, listen. I know it has to happen according to scriptures, but I feel bad for the animals. I truly feel bad for the animals, especially little wallabies and kangaroos. I love kangaroos, you know, and little wallabies. But scientists seek rare species survivors amid Australia flames. Australia's unprecedented wildfire season has so far charred 40,000 square miles of brushland, rainforests, and national parks, killing by one estimate more than 1 billion wild animals. Scientists fear some of the island continent's unique and colorful species may not recover. For others, they are trying to throw lifelines. Where flames have subsided, biologists are starting to look for survivors, hoping that they find enough left of some rare and endangered species to rebuild populations. And why are these creatures endangered in the first place, Esau? Why are they endangered in the first place? I need to know that. I need to know why. I need to know why. It's you. You have done this. You go around killing innocent animals. It's endangering them. And like I say, the more harmless an animal is, the more Esau has a bloodlust to kill it. I don't know why. I don't know why you need to do this, Esau. Y'all Edomites are through, man. Y'all Edomites have got to pay for this. You have got to be destroyed. Let me get that scripture real quick. Let me go to Revelations. Because you think the Most High does not see this stuff. The Most High has been seeing it. He has been seeing it. This is Revelations chapter 18, verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquity. The Most High has been watching. He has been watching patiently. Like when the scriptures say that he is long suffering, he is long suffering, very long suffering. Let me get that real quick. Sorry, brothers, if you could hear that upstairs. I got some neighbors upstairs. So excuse the noise. This is the book of Psalms. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. And I kept silence. The Most High has been watching. He has been watching in silence. He's been watching what you've been doing around the world, how you have subjugated all the nations, how you took the Israelites into your possessions and sold them abroad and utterly destroyed them. Took our names, our nationality, took our culture from us. Now you have us living the way you live. Now you have us doing the things that you do. The Most High has been watching all of this. Says, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. When you go around the world and you kill all these, and you endanger all these species, you endanger these peaceful animals that don't do nothing but just live. The Most High has been watching that. He's been watching that carefully. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such a one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Y'all Edomites have been thinking that God is white. He's white like y'all. Y'all been thinking that the angels were white like y'all. You've been thinking that the Most High's Son is white like y'all. But the Most High is going to put the real Israelites in rulership right in front of your eyes. It's already beginning. It's already beginning. With us, with the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Natives, and we standing up and we telling you to your face that you're going to come under, that you are going to be decimated, that you are going to lose your rulership. You're already seeing it begin. You're beginning to see a kingdom that's being established right now. Because the kingdom is in us. So us coming back to the law, statutes, commandments, coming back to our power, praying to him, calling out his name, Yahweh, and his son's name, Yahweh Shai, you're seeing a change. You're seeing that we are not under your rulership anymore. We're not under your influence anymore. And the whole world sees how you are, Esau. All the world is seeing what Edom really does and how Edom really behaves. The rest of the world is now seeing that America is the enemy. America is the terrorist. America. No one else. That America goes around starting shit. That America don't know how to stay home. Don't know how to stay where they are. And let other nations just be. That America goes around stealing other people's resources. Stealing their oil. Stealing their lithium. Stealing this, stealing that. Stealing gold. America does this. Stealing opium. America does this. And the world knows this. That's why you got Britain turning their backs on America. Sorry, partner, you ain't going. You ain't going into World War III, dragging us along with you. No, Britain's turning their back on them. Everybody's turning their back on them. Every ally that America has is going to betray them, as it is written in Obadiah 1:7. As it is written, you look at Turkey. Turkey's supposed to be America's ally, but Turkey's buying weapons from Russia now. Everybody's turning on America. What do you think's going to happen? Japan's going to follow suit. Japan ain't going to go against their brothers. You know what I'm saying? These Japanese, they are Ammonites. The Ammonites are not going to go against the Moabites, their brothers, who we call Chinese today. They're not going to go against their brothers. No. When that time really comes, they're going to turn on America too, because they remember what America did. America launched atomic bombs. America launched atomic bombs, and the only place that they launched a bomb at is in Japan. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You think they forgot that? They have not forgotten that. Who else is going to turn on America? All their allies. I tell you, the scriptures speak, and they will not lie. The scriptures are going to come to pass. All these prophecies is going to take place. I was going on a tangent right there, man, because I get excited when I think about this place finally getting its judgment. Finally getting its judgment, man. Because when I look at the innocence of the planet and how it has to suffer because of what Esau does, I just can't help but just get excited knowing that the scriptures is about to take place, man. That all the prophecies is about to come to pass, and America is going to be destroyed. All these Edomites is going to be destroyed, not just in America, but all around the world. Edom, there will be no trace of Edom. No trace of them. And the planet will rejoice. The planet will rejoice. Let me keep reading. It says, where flames have subsided, biologists are starting to look for survivors, hoping they may find enough left of some rare and endangered species to rebuild populations. It's a grim task for a nation that prides itself on its diverse wildlife, including creatures found nowhere else on the planet, such as koalas, kangaroos, and wallabies. I don't think we've seen a single event in Australia that has destroyed so much habitat and pushed so many creatures to the very brink of extinction, said Kingsley Dixon, an ecologist at Curtin University in Perth. Not long after wildfires passed through Oxley Wild Rivers National Park in New South Wales, ecologist Guy Billard set out looking for brush-tailed rock wallabies. The small marsupials resemble miniature kangaroos with long, floppy tails, and often bound between large boulders, their preferred hiding spots. Before their fire season, scientists estimated there were as few as 15,000 left in the wild. Now recent fires in a region already stricken by drought have burned through some of their last habitat. And the species is in jeopardy of disappearing, Bullard said. Mark my words. Y'all brothers and sisters out there, mark my words. When everything is through, when the Most High destroys this place, when he destroys all these inhabitants, every nation comes under the rulership of the Israelites, he's going to bring all these beautiful animals back. All these beautiful animals is going to come back. And we're going to rule over them the same way Adam did. And we'll be able to speak to them again as it is written. But until that time comes, we're going to have to see all this destruction. We're going to have to see it. It's a shame, but it's got to happen, man. It's got to happen. Because the stage has to be set. The stage has to be set for the Israelites to come back in the rulership. I'm going to cut it right there and keep this moving. And because of all that, now we see the chariots showing up in mass. We see all these UFO sightings, these quote-unquote UFO sightings. What did I read? What did I read in Zechariah? It says that the curse shall enter into the house of the thief, and that the stage has to be set for that grand finale. The stage must be set. Right now, you're seeing so-called UFOs showing up everywhere around the world. And now in America alone, it says UFO sightings in North America alone jumped to nearly 6,000 in 2019. 6,000. There was a rise in the number of North Americans who looked up into the sky in 2019 and found something that didn't look like a bird or a plane. The National UFO Reporting Center, which tracks calls and messages from people around the U.S. and Canada about strange sightings in the sky, reported that it received 5,971 sightings in 2019, a jump from 3,395 in 2018. Damn, that's over 2,000 more sightings. Peter Davenport, who runs the independent organization that's based in Davenport, Washington, said he couldn't explain why more people called about seeing flashing white lights, fireballs, disc-shaped objects, and other oddities in 2019. As quote, one of the mysteries of ufology is there's a fluctuation in the number of reports over the years, he said, quote, he told ABC News in a phone interview. Quote, some years it's been low, but it's gotten higher recently, unquote. More Navy developing new UFO reporting guidelines amid rise of unauthorized aircraft sightings. California led the country last year with the most number of UFO observations to the site, 485 in total, an increase of 182 sightings from 2018. That's a lot. That's a lot of increase. That's a lot of increase right there, man. Florida came in second with 385 sightings in 2019, which was 156 more reports than in 2018, according to the UFO Reporting Center data. Washington came in third with 222 reports last year, which represented an increase of 51 from 2018, according to the site. Davenport's site takes reports from callers and online submissions, many of which are anonymous, and lists them with as much detail as possible. For example, on April 15th, a man and his girlfriend reported they saw a formation in the sky near Bakersfield, California. We witnessed three unidentified objects, one in the middle being the larger, escorted by two other smaller unidentified objects, one to the left and one to the right, having no lights and no sound. The dark-colored objects heading southeast, traveling at an unknown speed, and disappeared into the clouds beyond sight, the report said. Davenport said he does not investigate any of the claims he collects, and noted that some of the sightings may have been the same object that was seen by multiple people. Rick Feinberg, a spokesman for the American Astronomical Society, emphasized that the U in UFO stands for unidentified, and many people, and I'd like to say that the people at the upper echelons of power, they know exactly what these chariots are. They know exactly who is operating them. They know that. They know full well, and they've known for a while. So they're not exactly unidentified. They are identified. But I'm continue. And many people are unaware of astronomical goings on in the space on any given day. For instance, Jupiter and Venus were more visible than Earth last year, and they can stand out in the night sky, according to Feinberg. He also noted that SpaceX launched 180 new satellites into space last year, and those devices have lit up the night skies. If you are not keeping up with the news and not familiar with the skyline, you might mistakenly see an unidentified flying object. It may be unidentified to you, but known to others, Feinberg said. Alright, so of course we're gonna have an Edomite say put in these two words, but that's not important. What's important is we're seeing a high influx of chariot sightings. Now I've seen some of this footage, and it most certainly is not no drone, no satellite. It ain't none of that. I've seen some of those sightings, and these things are moving with artificial. They're moving with actual intelligence. These are chariots that we're looking at here. These are chariots. There's an actual chariot that I saw that came out of a cloak, from a cloud, as it is written in the scriptures. They use the clouds. They're described as clouds. So this is going to conclude my lesson today. It was basically, Esau, your time is running out, man. Your time is running out, and you know that. So I would advise you to do whatever you got to do. Your martial law, whatever you need. Enforce the chip tomorrow. Enforce the chip tomorrow. Do whatever you got to do, man. Y'all average Edomites, live it up as much as you can. Just live it up, because it's over. The kingdom's over. Your kingdom is over. Ours is coming soon, and very soon. So prepare for that. I want to say, Call Halal Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All praises, glory, and honor to the Most High. In the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai. In the Ruach HaKodesh. I want to say shalom to all the brothers out there pushing the truth of the gospel of the kingdom, pushing it throughout the four winds, as is written in Matthew chapter 24. The gospel of the kingdom shall reach the four corners of the earth before the end comes. I want to say shalom, barakatah to all y'all brothers out there that's pushing the truth. Shalom to all the sisters out there that's listening in, that's listening and learning to all these brothers, and that's staying true to their husbands, staying in the faith, keeping the faith in your house, and the good works. Blessings to all of you. Shalom.